What is going on, guys? It is your boy Hollywood Steve back with another video. We're going to review tonight's Backlash. So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. So let's get right into things, shall we? Now, I'm going to start this video off by telling you guys that I didn't have access to ESPN, to the ESPN app. I have to renew the subscription, but I was able to get the match on ESPN2, the first hour, and I was able to find the other details on the other matches. So let's just dive right in, shall we? So the first hour of Backlash was on ESPN2. And the first match was the first match and only match was Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker. And the match started out with Seth in control. Braun had charge of the match when he threw Seth over the barricade. Seth regained control for a bit until Breaker suplexed him over the top rope. Seth and Braun went back and forth on the outside of the ring. Braun quickly regained control with a released German suplex. Seth tried to take advantage, but Breaker turned the tables. Rollins had control for a few minutes until Breaker hit a clothesline after hitting the ropes at an amazing 23 miles per hour. They've clocked this. Breaker hits the ropes at 23 miles an hour. That is insane. Then Breaker hits another release German suplex. But he goes for a cover. He gets only a 2 count. Then he hits a not so perfect Breakensteiner, as he calls it, off the top rope. Braun pins Seth for another 2. Braun Breaker dumped Seth out of the ring, and he rolled to the outside and went for the running spear. But as Breaker jumped to dive to deliver it, Seth caught him in midair with a super kick. And Breaker and Rollins got back in the ring just under the 10 count. Rollins hit some forearm clotheslines and some forearms. Rollins went for a stomp. Breaker lifted up his head, so Seth turned it into a kick to the temple. Seth went for the stomp again. Breaker countered it. Seth hit the buckle bomb, and Breaker rolled. Then hit Seth with a clothesline, turning him inside out. Then it looked like Braun was going for a DDT, but Rollins sort of botched it and landed on the back of his neck, which looked really painful, by the way, which looked like that hurt. That did not look good. Breaker pinned Seth for another 2. Then Braun threw Seth to the outside and got up on the apron and hit his patented flying clothesline, sending both superstars over the announce table. The camera panned over to Heyman, and you guys know Paul Heyman had that sinister smile of his, like everything was going his way. Breaker got on the top rope. Seth jumped up on the rope and hit a suplex. And as he was going for the Falcon Arrow, Breaker countered it into one of his own, which was pretty cool. Heyman then got up on the apron and distracted Seth. He went to grab a chair from under the ring when Austin Theory met him, and Austin Theory and Logan Paul showed up. But Seth nailed Austin Theory with the chair and a stomp, just for good measure. Logan Paul got a chair shot as well. Seth ran him off and got back in the ring, and Breaker went for the spear. Seth Rollins countered it into a pedigree. This was after he had hit a spear as Seth Rollins rolled back in the ring for a 2. Seth went up to the second rope and was going for an avalanche stomp. Breaker hit him with a spear for another 2. Then he hit a tornado spear after hitting the ropes and got the 3 count for the win. So we did get 2 matches. I thought it was only 1 match, but we did get 2 matches, guys. So we're going to roll into match number 2, which was Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams for the United States Championship. Trick kick. So Trick was accompanied by Little Yachty. And right away we got to using the cane. Little Yachty drills Sammy in the back with his candy cane kendo stick. Trick hits the trick shot for a 2 3/4. Sammy threw Trick outside and starts to beat up Little Yachty with his kendo stick. Then as Trick was going for a bookend on the steel steps, Sami Zayn turned it into a DDT and spiked Williams on the steel stairs. Sammy hit Yachty with a haluva kick, got Trick back in the ring, and went for a haluva kick on Trick, but he moved out of the way and hit a trick shot to retain his United States Championship. And then, like I said, over on the ESPN app, which I don't have right now, we had The Miz and Kit Wilson taking on Danhausen and his mystery partner, which ended up being a bunch of mini Danhausens. His mini-Hausens, as he called them. And Danhausen and his mini-Hausens picked up the win in a match that was kind of pretty much a comedy match that I don't get. I don't understand why the WWE has put The Miz in these type of comedy storylines. The man's a 2-time Grand Slam champion and a future first ballot Hall of Famer. He should be looking to go after the world title. This is my opinion. In my opinion. And I'm sure that you guys would probably agree with me. The Miz is not a comedy character. He's not R-Truth. And it sucks that he's been relegated to that role at this stage in his career. I mean, it really does. I mean, the Miz should be going after titles, not going after, not wrestling Danhausen. Okay, not teaming up with Kit Wilson and wrestling Danhausen and his mini-Hausens. I'm sorry. As much as I like Danhausen, okay? As much as I like Danhausen, I'm glad he's in the WWE. But The Miz is not a comedy character. And should not be treated as such. It just really sucks that he's been relegated to that kind of role. But then we got Io Sky taking on Asuka, and this was really a tremendous match from the highlights that I saw. At one point, Io blocked Asuka's miss with Wade Barrett's notebook, which I thought was kind of a cool spot. And then Io Sky eventually picks up the win here with the over the moonsault, and a cool moment at the end of the match. They both embrace each other, and apparently, I was reading after Backlash that Asuka was pretty emotional after this. So I've heard people I've heard people speculating, does this mean that Asuka is done with the WWE? Was this her last match? Is she done? You know, I don't know. That's kind of what I was kind of scrolling through and seeing online, was that there's people saying, was this Asuka's farewell? You know, I don't know. We will have to see. Then before the main event, we got John Cena making his huge announcement. And it was introducing another tournament. Yay. Just what we need. Another tournament. And so this new tournament is going to be called the John Cena Classic. One of the things that John Cena was saying, that I caught this online, that I don't particularly agree with and doesn't really sit well with me, is that if you lose your match, you kind of the fans get to vote you back in. So it's almost like American Idol in a way. It's very American Idol-esque in that sense, that if you lose, you can get voted back in to continue in the tournament. And but and in John Cena's words, if you showed up and you showed hustle and all the things that John Cena exemplifies, but I'm sorry, if you lose the match, you should be out of the tournament. You shouldn't get to have the chance to get voted back in, because then that takes away somebody else's opportunity who won their match. And who should be moving on, who's going to have to drop down because said wrestler got voted back in, because they showed hustle, loyalty, respect. They showed all that stuff. So they get to get voted back in and have another shot and continue on their journey. I don't like that. But that was John Cena's huge announcement. I like the concept of it. I like the John Cena Classic, but again, it's another tournament. Okay, whatever, cool. I like the idea, but I don't like how you can get voted out. Like, if you lose your match, you have the opportunity to get voted back in by the fans. I don't like that. Now, me personally, I was hoping for. Now they did this back in 2-3 years ago, when John Cena came out and you had Grayson Waller. I don't know if you guys remember this, but they were in, I think they were in London, I believe. They were in England. I think it was for a Raw, or I can't remember. But help me out in the comments, guys. Help me remember when this was. But it was John Cena coming out, and Grayson Waller interrupted. And they were talking about, hey, do you guys want a WrestleMania? Yeah. And Grayson Waller was like, no, WrestleMania should come to Australia. Australia should get a WrestleMania. And John Cena's like, no, London should get a WrestleMania. And we had that whole thing. Now they have talked about they've talked about this, about possibly doing a WrestleMania in London. And for all the London fans, I think that would be super cool. I think that would be really awesome. And I honestly thought that was what John Cena was gonna announce. I didn't think he was going to announce another tournament. But there we go. Here we go. Another tournament. I don't know if there's going to be another champion, a different championship, or if this is just going to be like, gamesmanship, respect on respect kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know what this is going to look like, when this is going to start. I don't know. But that was the huge announcement. Then we got the main event. Jacob Fatu versus Roman Reigns for the World Championship. And I saw Jacob put in a great effort here. But in the end, Roman showed Jacob that you don't come at the tribal chief. You take your shot, you better not miss. What Jacob Fatu missed his shot. And something that Roman said on the post show with Jackie Redmond makes me think that this feud is not over with Fatu and Roman. Something makes me think that this feud is not quite done yet. That there's still more meat on the bone. That we've only scratched the surface of this feud between Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns. Because Jacob Fatu has completely snapped. And Roman said something to the effect of Jacob, you don't belong here in the WWE. You're too reckless. You're out of control. You don't belong in the WWE. I knew it was a mistake for you to come to the WWE, for the WWE to sign you. I knew it was a mistake because you're too out of control. You're too wild. You're too crazy. And so Jacob Fatu had a few words as well. I didn't catch all that Fatu had said after the match, but as he was walking up the ramp. But I don't think that the WWE is done. I don't think that this was the last that we're gonna see between Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu. I don't think that this was the end of the feud. I definitely feel that there is definitely more meat on the bone here, and that you could do some more things here. You could, Monday you could have Fatu. Fatu show up on Raw, go, I'm not done with you yet, Roman. I still want I know that I didn't shoot my shot, but I want that title. I need that title. I've told you that I need that title, and I'm not going to rest until I get that title, till I pry it from your hands. And I think that could be something that you could do, and you could introduce Zilla Fatu into the picture. because people are chatting online, people are talking about Zilla Fatu. People are talking about Zilla Fatu going to the WWE and joining the WWE. Now he hasn't signed a contract, so don't get excited, guys. Don't get excited. He hasn't signed a contract yet, but there is talk. There's talk that he is potentially going to go to the WWE and sign with the WWE, and how he gets introduced and brought in is totally up to Triple H and the creative team, Bruce Pritchard and all those guys, and how they want to do it. Now, so like I said, there is so much more you could do with this story between Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns. If you bring in Zilla Fatu, you could have them tag as, you could have Zilla Fatu and Jacob Fatu tag as the Samoan SWAT team, which is what they were on the Independents when they were wrestling on the Indies. That's the tag team they were, was the Samoan SWAT team. So you could have that. You could have the Samoan SWAT team wrestle the Usos. You could do, you could do a couple of different. You could do that. I mean, there's things that you could do that you would have to work the story, but I think there's still definitely something there that you could do. But that was Backlash kind of in a nutshell, guys. Roman again picks up the win here. Roman retains, as I thought it was going to be, as I thought it was going to go. But that was Backlash. It was all right. It was all right. I mean, the results, like I said, the results of the match were what I expected they would be. Let me know your guys' thoughts on Backlash. I want to know what your guys' overall take was, what your guys' overall thoughts were on the matches, on the, on Roman retaining, on what Roman said, and your thoughts on what they're doing, with the Miz and how they're using him, and and everything. So I want your guys' thoughts. I want your guys' opinions. That's what I want. And also, guys, really help this channel get to 1,000 subscribers. That's the goal, is 1,000 subs, guys. That is the first goal, and then go beyond that. But help me get to 1,000 subs, guys. Tell your friends, like this video, give this video a huge, massive, big thumbs up. Just like my big thumb right there. Okay? Give this video a huge thumbs up. If you guys like this content, comment, share, subscribe. I mean, all those things, guys, really helps out the channel. I will catch you guys in the next one. Hey, and remember, when you're Hollywood Steve, you're just too sweet.